What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another video. I'm BouseFeenux, and a lot of you are asking for my top 5 list of underrated melee weapons. To be totally honest, this has probably been my favorite video of the series so far. I love melee weapons, and I honestly don't think they get enough attention in this game. Making this video allowed me to rediscover some old weapons I had all but forgotten about. I also remembered how melee combat in Warframe can feel kind of awkward and misplaced at times, and I honestly wish we'd see slower combat, sort of like Bloodborne in this game, but I know and you know that'll never happen. Anyway, enough whimsical thinking, let's go ahead and jump in. Coming into the number 1 spot is a weapon that blew, or rather punched, the pants off every other weapon in its class when it was released. The Techo is of course the weapon I'm referring to, and when it released in update 17.5, it surprised players by being a fist weapon that was actually good. Digital Extremes hasn't really given a lot of love to fist-type weapons in Warframe over the years. They're usually short on range, and they lack in the damage department. However, the Techo was a massive exception to this, at least on the damage side of things at the time of its release. A lot of this is owed to the Techo having the second highest critical chance for melee weapons in the game, which is pretty significant. For example, with a rank 10 Blood Rush, you can achieve red crits with just a 1.5 times combo multiplier. Pretty impressive if I say so myself. The second underrated weapon on our list is one that I'm really starting to like. That weapon is the Sarada, and it's a glaive type weapon with an infested aesthetic. For those of you that have been playing a while, you know that glaive weapons aren't really seen a whole lot, except for when you want to whip out that Blessing Trinity with the glaive prime combo. But after giving the Sarada some serious playtime, I had to include it on this list, and here are a few reasons why. Number 1, the Sarada is extremely versatile in the stats department. It features both 15% critical chance and 15% status chance, and with the introduction of Blood Rush and Body Count or Weeping Wounds, you can make a monster of a build regardless of which stat you choose to enhance. The number 2 reason is the freaking stance mod, man. This one is called Astral Twilight, and tell me you wouldn't feel like a badass throwing this thing around like that. In all seriousness though, I think glaive weapons often get overlooked because without practice they can be cumbersome to use, and it can be confusing to know when and how to build them, seeing as they have some unique mods. As a unique tip though, I will say that I've noticed the Sarada performing better as just a melee weapon. I wouldn't worry too much about building this thing to throw. The results I had with it were underwhelming. Now, everyone knows I pretty much had to include this third weapon because if I didn't, this video would become Dislike City and all the poor covert lethality tryhards would be super butthurt. Anyway, that weapon is the Ceramic Dagger, and joking aside, with the right mod setup, this thing is actually pretty terrifying. Now, I know this is a list of underrated weapons, and dagger weapons with covert lethality are praised by the min-max endurance runners, but what I do want to say is that outside of those guys, I don't think I've seen many people using them. I think the contributing factor for this is that these weapons kind of require a specific setup to be truly effective. You pretty much need a Warframe that can reliably set up finishers on enemies because that's where most of your damage comes from. As you can see in this footage, Ash is fantastic for this as his teleport skill performs a finisher automatically with the correct skill augment. In conclusion, I think a lot of people are passing this up because it's so specific. If you're skilled with these types of synergistic combos though, you won't be disappointed if you try this out. Oh, Dagger Prime. The 4th entry on our list is pretty much the golden gilded broken war of yesteryear. The Dagger Prime used to be the favorite single-handed sword of Tenno everywhere during Update 10, but was massively dethroned in Update 13 when the Dragon Nakana was released. Moreover, there isn't really a reason to use this weapon over Broken War or Nakana Prime, seeing as they both blow the Dagger Prime out of the water. You should know, though, that this isn't saying much, seeing as this thing still kicks its fair share of ass. Here's a fun fact for you, though, and most people actually don't know this. The Dagger Prime is the primed version of the Cronus. You know, that sword you get after killing Vor for the first time. Anyway, I still love this weapon, and if I'm not doing something super high level, I'm usually more than happy enough to bring it along on my missions. And finally, the last weapon on our list had to be a scythe weapon. We're talking about the Iancu in particular, and despite what people say, I really think it doesn't suck. It's got above average attack speed, is a puncture weapon, which is awesome, and has a pretty gnarly crit chance. On top of all that, pretty much all scythe stance mods have awesome movesets. Regardless of all this though, you'll probably never see anyone actually using the Iancu. I can honestly say that I don't think I ever have, and to be honest, most of you watching this video had probably forgotten about it until I mentioned it. Additionally, I really like this weapon not just for the stats mentioned, but because of the way it looks. It's modeled off the Paris bow, much in the same way the Redeemer is modeled off the Tigress. Another cool tidbit about the Iancu is that the name is believed to have been derived from Iancu, spelled A-N-K-O-U, who is basically an allegory for death in French folklore. Pretty neat, right? But that's gonna do it for me today, ladies and gentle memes. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like. It helps out way more than you think. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing for more Warframe content. I more or less put out new videos each day if I can get past my crippling self-loathing. And as a final note, you'll notice that there are no builds for the weapons in this video. That's mainly because I didn't want builds to be the focus of this content, and I think if I added them, that's all you guys would have discussed in the comments, and my intention for this video was for you guys to just have something fun to watch, not argue about stats and mod choice. Anyways guys, I'm BouseFeenux, I'll see you at the next video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.